Do you guys like Doom? How about Doom by Devolver Digital?
Well, howdy, stranger.
So let's talk.
Can you hear me? Demons! They're trying to break through the...
Shadow Warrior 3 is a first-person shooter game developed by Flying Wild Hog and published by Devolver Digital, the sequel to Shadow Warrior 2. You control Lo Wang and his never-ending arsenal to defeat enemies and save the world by slaying this new Elder Dragon and saving your demon friend in the process. And that is pretty much the story. The game visually seems a bit odd if you look at the wide aesthetics of its art, with the game almost seeming as the devs took a bunch of different art packs from a marketplace and meshed and blend them all together to create the game's environment. Certain levels stick out as a sore thumb, like the jungle level, compared to all of the other levels in their art with its style. This new take of Shadow Warrior 3 does try to change the game yet again, as the first one was more of a traditional original approach, and the second one was more of a loot shooter, while the third one aims to take it to the Doom style, as it simply plays out as a typical Doom clone arena shoot 'em up, with all of its gore, its own unique mobs and fatalities. And by design, Shadow Warrior 3 isn't a bad game, it's just not an amazing one. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, nor does it try to. It knows the type of game it is, and it sticks by it. The gameplay is fine-tuned to a crispy chip, where it feels really good to play. However, sometimes in certain areas where there's too much going on, or the art is just too high-res compared to the other areas of its game, it seems to lose that fluid motion. The best way that I can describe it to you guys is certain levels feel like I'm getting 120 frames per second, and then there's other levels where I feel like I'm just getting 60. Yeah, I know, it's first world problems when it comes to consoles, and it's not really anything to complain about, but literally that's what it feels like I'm getting. The loading on PS5 didn't give me any issues, as I barely seen any loading screens. Usually it was a quick black flash, and then the next level began, or that cinematic for that level began. And as again, I'm going to touch on it one more time, the graphics of the game does look beautiful in certain areas and cutscenes, and it's almost breathtakingly so. However, the first tutorial level in those first cutscenes, it looked pretty damn rough, almost like the devs said, that's good enough, let's continue to make the game, and then go back and polish it, and then they forget to actually polish it, just slapping a sticker on the game's ass and saying, make it live. The shooting and the beating up is the carbon copy Doom, but I do love it. The good news is the game never gets repetitive or stale because it's shorter than a guy suffering from pre-ejaculation. I was able to beat this game from start to finish in one playthrough of a sit down in 4 hours. That's extremely short for the amount of money that this game costs, where if you were to pay $50 and you would use the whatever they do nowadays to compare value of money and time, where some people say it's $1 an hour, well, now you're paying $50 for 4 hours, or if you were to give it more value, saying $10 an hour, well, you're still paying that extra $10. So technically, I would 100% push and wait for a sale if this is a game that you must play because you're a fan of Devolver Digital like I am. You've played the previous predecessors of this game, and you want to play Shadow Warrior 3. However, I just can't recommend it at full price. There is no replayability, because once you start from the game, you end, and after completing it, there is no new game plus, and if you do hunt trophies, if you're a platinum trophy hunter, if you don't get it all in your first run, you're fucked. But the good news is the game's only 4 hours, so to do it again and get those trophies that you missed, it's not really gonna hurt you that much. Also, like I said, I can't recommend at full price. Wait for Game Pass PS Now. It's actually on PS Now right now, and they're in we'll get into the dynamics of what the game also entails now that we got a lot of those thoughts out the way. So there's shotgun, machine guns, dual wielding pistols, an upgrade system where you can find these orbs around the map. During some kind of collectible hunt, you can go find different pathways to get these orbs, but it's not really that open world. There are various upgrades like making your shotgun automatic, or giving your revolver poison rounds, or making it so you can self-regenerate your own health and not have to worry about the orb pickups that you get from killing mobs. Speaking of the mobs, the monsters themselves all have their own unique designs, and when you perform your fatalities on them, you get their special weapon, which tears shit up, as each one of those little guys, or big guys, have crazy, insane special weapons that fuck shit up and have their own mechanics. It is true to its Devolver Digital, as the game has endless parody, endless skits, jokes, funniness, edginess that everyone has begun to love about the games and the games that Devolver Digital publish. It just doesn't take itself too serious, and it's good for some mind-numbing action if you just want to sit down and kill, or just play a Doom clone that's actually really good and not just a Doom clone. It's a shame though that the game wasn't longer, and like I said, it just doesn't try too hard. And the only other thing I could really say that's bad about it is they did change voice actors from the other from their main character from the other games, so it doesn't have the same voice. And if that's something that will trigger you, well, here is that the disclaimer in this review. So that is pretty much all I have for Shadow Warrior 3. Over here at NGI, we give the game a 7 out of 10. Make sure you stay up to date with all the latest in gaming tech news and reviews. Smash that like, and as always, subscribe. God bless and peace.